rq.gov. This message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, the Agency for Healthcare Research and Quality, and the Ad Council.
There you go.
And it says here that vision loss to glaucoma can't be restored.
I heard that glaucoma is the leading cause of blindness for Hispanics and African Americans.
So everyone should get an eye exam at least every 2 years.
Especially people over 60.
Here's cappuccino.
You might have glaucoma and not even know it. Call 1-800-437-2423 for a free brochure from National Glaucoma Research. 1-800-437-2423.
The views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the hosts and guests and do not necessarily reflect the views of Urban One Incorporated, Radio One, or any of its subsidiary companies.
The following program is paid for by Barbara Arnwine.
The views and opinions expressed in this program
It's time now for Igniting Change,
not necessarily
the
reflect the
weekly
views of Urban One Incorporated, Radio One, or any of its subsidiary companies.
It's time now for Igniting Change, a weekly provocative and empowering program where you, the listener, can ignite change. Now here's your host, Barbara Arnwine.
Get up, stand up.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Igniting Change. Oh, we have a great show for you today. And we are so grateful that you are listening in from all over the country. Yes, my mighty West Coast, the Midwest, the Northeast, the deep South. Yes, welcome to Igniting Change. Today we are talking about we who believe in freedom cannot rest until it's one, not come, but in one. And we have a great set of guests. But before we get into that discussion, I got to bring up my mighty co-host. You know who I'm talking about, the one and only chair of the board of the Transformative Justice Coalition, the boldest, baddest, most dedicated and committed lawyer you can find when you come to civil rights and voting rights. You know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about none other than attorney Daryl D. Jones. Hey, Daryl.
Hey, Barbara, it must be Tuesday, it must be noon Eastern Standard Time, because we're talking about igniting change. Barbara, let me tell you, it seems like week to week, there's so much that goes on. Last week, we were all over the place, and then week before that, we were in New Jersey, and now, last week we were down in Atlanta, Georgia, doing it up with the National Conference of Black Lawyers. My goodness, every week goes by, and there seems to be something else that's happening. But Barbara, this week I've got to lift up just a special thanks of a prayer that's been answered as we watch, the former leader of the Rainbow Push Coalition, Jesse Jackson, pushed through all the things that he's going through, showing you what faith in action looks like, Barbara. He's pushing through his injuries. He's pushing through his challenges. And I am hopeful that he'll be standing on the sideline with us again, holding up the flag and moving forward in protest, Barbara.
I tell you, he defied all the odds, people. They were, so worried, and we all should remain worried. We all should keep him deep in our souls and in our hearts, praying for him. But he is a fighter. If there's one word that can define Jesse Lewis Jackson Sr., the word is fighter, and he is not going to just depart this earth without continuing to do the mighty work that he feels called upon to do in this world in the fight for justice. Folks, the other thing we wanted to talk about, every time we have a show, we tell you, just like Jesse Jackson, we fight because we can win. And one of the big victories that I want to celebrate, because, the national press isn't doing their job, and we have to, in independent radio, do our job. That's why we pay, so that we can bring you the word as we see it, not as some sponsor demands we present it to you. what we want you to know right now is that in the city of Chicago, because of that mighty fight that was waged by so many powerful groups, so many ministers, so many churches, so many leaders, by the mayor, by the governor of the state of Illinois, by the mayor of Chicago, by the unions, by everybody. Because of that, did you see that the Texas National Guard, after a month of just sitting around doing nothing because the courts refused to allow them to harass the people of Chicago, left? Daryl, they left. Not only did they leave, the, quote, command center that all of these, forces were working under to try to, harass everybody in Chicago because of ICE, trying to do some kind of enforcement that it really wasn't doing nothing but terrorizing black folks and brown folks. You also saw that command center, it's gone, folks. They left. So we want you to understand that when the people stand up, listen, Memphis, listen, Charlotte, listen, New Orleans, when the people stand up, we win. Right, Daryl?
Absolutely, Barbara. One of the things that we continually say, and I would be remiss if I did not say they were saying it at the National Conference of Black Lawyers as well. One of the things that we continually say is that we learn from our experiences, and what was learned in Chicago, what was learned in D.C., what was learned in Los Angeles was implemented there in Chicago, was successful in Chicago. Now it's to continue to build upon that model as they go into Charlotte, North Carolina, probably into Baltimore and other areas, that we take those lessons and we push them forward and we continue to fight back the authoritarian regime as it brings itself across this country. We got to galvanize, get together, and fight back, Barbara.
Yes, and nothing is more of a fighting force than the National Conference of Black Lawyers. It was truly an honor to be at the 2025 conference in Atlanta, Georgia. It was absolutely beautiful, held at the Georgia State University College of Law. We were so amazed and proud of that wonderful conference entitled, that was focused on making sure that we, the people of the United States, the black people in particular, have the liberation-focused lawyers that they need in these times. And Daryl, why don't we introduce our first guest? I'm going to give you the honor of bringing up our first guest, and then we will proceed.
All right, thank you, Barbara. It's so, I guess he really doesn't need an introduction, but I'm going to do one because we must do it. But I'm going to tell you, if you haven't heard of the Davis Bozeman law firm down in Georgia, if you've not heard of one of the most fighting firms for individual rights, for civil rights, for African rights, for African American rights, you have not heard of anything. Because let me tell you, Mawuli Davis and what he's doing with the National Conference of Black Lawyers, what he's doing in the state of Georgia with every major civil rights and human rights case that comes across there, it is to be celebrated. And we're so happy to have Mawuli Davis back on Igniting Change to talk about the conference and talk about other issues that are going on in Georgia and around the country, Barbara. Welcome back, Mawuli Davis. Mawuli.
Hey, what's up, family? It's great to be back. It's great to sit again in conversation with y'all, man. Seeing you all, it just lights me up. Every time I get to be in your presence, we get to talk together. It's nothing but love. So, and then you came in there wearing that green suit and bow tie, man. That really got me, brother. That really got me.
So Daryl's always clean.
Sure.
Come on, sir. No, always is. And people need to understand that you're not going to see a Daryl Jones unless you're looking at a sharply dressed brother. And talking about...
Right. See, Barb, no, wait a minute, Barb. Wait a minute. It was like looking in a mirror. because when I walked in that
I
conference, I
noticed
was
that.
wearing a green suit and tie. It was Mawuli Davis, all right? People
All right, now.
Great minds think alike, y'all.
Listen to him, people. Let me bring up a mighty sister who is the current chair of the board of the National Conference of Black Lawyers. I am talking about an incredibly talented young lawyer who I was just so proud of. I don't know if she could see me, but I was grinning so wide that I'm amazed that the earth wasn't brightened because she was doing it, being the leader of this mighty group, and her name is Attorney Whitley Carpenter. She is the Senior Criminal Justice Counsel and Policy Manager for Forward Justice. She focuses on researching, developing, and advocating for effective policy changes related to reducing racial disparities in the practices and reducing recidivism through successful reentry programs. Prior to working with Forward Justice, she was a criminal justice staff attorney with the mighty Southern Coalition for Social Justice, where she worked on the Clean Slate Project and provided direct legal services to individuals seeking relief from the collateral consequences of having a criminal record. She has done so much. She currently serves on the advisory board of the Durham, my mighty Durham, Expulsion and Restoration, and is a member of the North Carolina Second Chance Alliance. She leads the NC Fines and Fees Coalition and is president of the board, as we have talked about, for the National Conference of Black Lawyers. She's received her JD from the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill and her bachelor's degree in psychology and political science from North Carolina State University. Welcome to your maiden appearance on Igniting Change, Attorney Whitley Carpenter.
Thank y'all for having me. That was a mighty intro. You didn't have to say all of that. But I am just happy to be in y'all's presence, happy to be here.
Well, we are going to start with the two of you, and then we have other guests we will introduce at 12:30, and you're going to love hearing everything we got to talk about. A lot of people are saying NCBL, National Conference of Black Lawyers. What state? Tell people about the proud history. Yes.
Oh, it's a wonderful, powerful history rooted in just revolutionary love. Founded in 1968, and it was founded because there was a need in that moment. What we know is that the state, the government, literally was waging war against the Black Panther Party and other liberation movements that J. Edgar Hoover had identified and really made it his business to prevent what he called the rise of a Black Messiah. And any of our young people who are listening who looked at Judas and the Messiah, that movie captures some of it, but in real time, there was a need for lawyers, Black lawyers, to step up and support the movement and serve as the legal arm of the Black liberation movement. And so many people, Hayward Burns, who's an ancestor now, really was leading that call. And when Assata Shakur was captured and her aunt, who represented her, needed a legal team, she turned to NCBL and helped Hayward Burns to help put that legal team together. And he recruited the great Lennox Hines. Lennox Hines assisted in the representation in a lot of different facets, along with law students, one of them being Mayor Deborah Jackson, who was a law student at Rutgers at the time. And so it really has been a organization that has, stood the test of time and continue to, serve at the tip of the liberation spear, so to speak, fighting against oppression and supporting movements that fight against oppression, both in the United States, but also across the world in supporting those liberation movements.
That was a beautiful description, Mawuli. I thank you for that. I wanted to record that myself so that we can use that later.